Scratch your chin if you want.
I do whatever I want. You are nobody. Come get out of here. Like really, 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 really. They always try to. You can she look you did.
But you came at me.
Now, I came at you because I had to get you back for last week because you thought you were gonna be slick.
Okay.
You said, "I'm not gonna let that slide. I'm not gonna let it slide."
Listen, that was a compliment.
Whatever you got to tell yourself. Whatever you got to tell yourself.
That you gotta, shave a nice cut, try to look like me. That's a compliment.
Nobody's trying to look like you.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Nobody's trying to look like you. You always trying to hype yourself up.
Listen.
Always doing it for no reason. Anyway, it's my week, so we're gonna talk about. It's a combination of different things, honestly. The main premise is that with all there's a merger currently going on with Activision Blizzard, and Sony's trying to basically negate the deal, and the FTC is involved. However, the FTC is supposed to be in the interest of the consumer, and with what is going on, it's clear that they don't have an interest in the consumer, which led me to think about other companies or other things that are supposed to be neutral in decision or be for the third party, i.e., us, the consumer, which really don't do that. And we can expand on that if need be, but that's basically where I was trying to go with it. You look like you were about to say something.
Oh no. So what is this acquisition going to give uh Microsoft?
Just more games, more games, a bigger catalog to work with as far as like possibly exclusives and things like that. Oh,
So go ahead, go. No,
well, that was basically it. That's basically it.
okay. Well, now, hey, I'm old school. What I've seen, I've heard the commercials where PlayStation or Xbox will say, I don't know if Xbox said it, but I know they would say right now it's only exclusive to this gaming system.
Mm.
The other gaming system doesn't have it yet or won't have it. Is that a part of this transition or this buy they're
That's
trying to
that's a
hinder?
part of it. That's a part of it. Like Sony's worried that the Call it basically is around the Call of Duty franchise, a franchise that's
Mhm.
been running for 20 plus years now, almost 20 plus
That's a
years now.
billion-dollar engine
Right.
industry, right? Okay.
They're basically, long story short, they're basically worried that Microsoft will block the game from coming out on PlayStation, and that's where the FTC was getting involved because they're supposed to be looking out for the consumer to try and stop monopolies, essentially things like that, from it being a problem. However, with the way that the hearing was coming out, the FTC only had interest in Sony's agenda. Didn't say anything about the consumer. Nobody said anything about the consumer because this has been something that's been going on for a long time, right? Sony's had exclusives, Microsoft's had exclusives. It is what it is. It's just that this is a bigger entity essentially that Microsoft could be acquiring.
So this is a gaming development purchase.
Basically.
And this is where games are being pulled from these different medias, I guess. You got Xbox and you got PlayStation.
Right.
And you got some other small ones probably out there. But this is where they get the new games from.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft is deciding to purchase the people who create the games.
One of the
Is
companies,
that
yeah.
correct?
It's a big
One of the
yeah,
companies,
yeah.
right?
Right.
One of the biggest companies that. produces the games.
Right.
PlayStation, Sony gets their games from this same entity.
Mm-hmm.
So why, if they're both getting the same game, why would it be in Microsoft's best interest to purchase that if they're both getting the same game at the same time with the same fairness in purchase?
Well, that was the main sticking point for Sony. Microsoft was doing it for more so like other avenues, mobile games. You have other games that Blizzard makes, so you have all that under one umbrella. So you can mix around and work on different projects if you want to, because you have more team members to mix and match and do what you want to do in that aspect, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But that particular franchise, like I said, it's $1 billion franchise. It's a franchise that's
Absolutely.
been going on
Yeah.
for a long time. And so you said, why would it be in Microsoft's best interest to buy it?
Right.
Well, like I
Right.
said, that's
Because the games are shared
right.
between the two companies, right?
I mean, it is, but they're not. Like I said, that is a small percentage compared to the bigger picture of what Microsoft was trying to buy it for. Like that was just the sticking point. And Sony's like, oh well, we won't get and Microsoft's always like, well, we'll already providing you the game or whatnot. Like that won't be an issue. We're just trying to buy the company for all the other stuff that just happens to be part of it, essentially. If that, you look like you're it's like,
what I'm trying to figure out is why would Sony have a gripe as long as they get the same game that Microsoft's going to get?
because it's the pot calling the kettle black. So essentially, Sony just being, way I look at it, Sony being petty. Like they're just being petty because there's already been documents saying that Sony really doesn't care if they get the franchise or not. So that's already been exposed. So they don't really get. They're just being petty at this point because Sony's been doing this for a long time. Like it's been a battle back and forth between these two about exclusivity for their platforms, things like that. And so, not saying that Microsoft's in the clear for any wrongdoings or anything like that, because they have done some shady stuff as well. But
to stay alive, you got to try to stay alive,
right?
If somebody's trying to make you irrelevant, you got to try to stay relevant.
Right.
So, I get that.
So that's basically what it comes down to, is just Sony being petty. Like they just want to block it, and like I said,
see if they can. See if they can block.
Right.
It's not necessarily saying they'll block it. It's like, from a corporate standpoint, why not try?
Right.
My bottom line, hey, let them, we'll say that it's infringing on this or infringing on that,
Mm-hmm.
and see where it goes. But it still doesn't, it might change their bottom line a little, but it's not really going to affect them the way, like it's going to be detrimental, put them out of business.
Right. But here, like I said, here was the main sticking point, though, was the whole the FTC. That was what I was focusing on. I could care less about the argument between Microsoft and Sony or whatever else is going on. It's the fact that the FTC is supposed to be there to be basically a third party, right? A third party to protect the consumer. So why is it that you were so concerned about Sony getting you said nothing about the consumer. You're just like, is Sony going to be okay? Is Sony going to be okay? Is Sony going to be basically looking after Sony? It's like, how does that work? How Sway? How are you not doing what you basically put there to do? I mean, they sure as hell stepped in when was it AT&T? What was the recent phone one where was it AT&T that was buying up a bunch of companies? Or was it AT&T and Sprint, or what company was it that was trying to merge?
I guess it was AT&T and Sprint.
Yeah,
because they did merge.
They did merge. Well, which one was it? There was one that they blocked immediately. I think it was AT&T and was it T-Mobile? or was Verizon T-Mobile? There's one of those three,
Right, right.
but it got blocked immediately. FTC, oh no, we can't have that. So it's just like,
Yeah, and this is a sign of lobbyists. Um, the lobbyists definitely play a factor in what gets passed and what doesn't, and who gets represented and who doesn't. They had the same thing with and you probably don't even can even recall this with the supermarkets. The smaller supermarkets were out there,
mm-hmm,
and you had Public and um, I guess Walmart now and is in the grocery business, and you had Kroger and all the smaller Piggly Wigglies, Food Lions, and a lot of other smaller restaurants couldn't compete because they were being bought out by these larger restaurants. So I mean, grocery stores. So it's been going on a long time, and the fight is based on the pocket.
right,
So it's obvious who's been lobbying more than the other.
mm,
Um, it sounds like just a lobby issue where you support me, I'm going to fight for you, or at least show that I'm fighting for you, even though I know the end result is going to be what it's going to be.
right. I mean, I just didn't understand. Like,
It's lobby. It's
no, I
lobbyists.
got that. I just didn't understand like how you were so gung ho sticking on one side, but you didn't sound neutral at all during that whole.
Yeah, I heard the judge had to really intervene and
Right,
say, "Hey, I don't even want to hear that argument. You supposed to be here for the consumer, and you're talking about something that deals with a company and not the consumer." And based on my research, I don't know how true it is. Like you did on my topic, um, I've heard that um, the same practices were used on games practically.
mm-hmm,
Um, Sony would say, or one group would say, "Give me the rights to it first. Hold off, or don't allow this gaming system to have it before me, so that now I got up on you."
right,
And it's been hurting their business as well, the other competition's business as well. But now with this accusation, it kind of evened the playing field. But I think it should be equally dispersed. But the big difference is the gaming system
mm-hmm,
is different. I mean, you know more about that than me. Um, uh, the one gaming system is more active or group oriented. You can um, interact with other people differently.
right,
The other one is more, I guess, behind that,
mm-hmm,
and it's less active, group active. I mean, I'm just using the old folks terms. You probably could give the more animated young version of that. What I'm trying to say.
right. Well, I mean, as far as I know, unless something's changed, so Microsoft has always been more of
Mhm.
the community platform or console, and then Sony's been more about storytelling and the the single player games for the most part. So their their communication portion was not always the best. Like I said, that may have changed over the years, but that's what I remember. At least when I had both consoles at one point, I know that I was able to talk to people a lot easier on the Xbox than it was on the PlayStation. But yeah, like it was just something that was it was in passing, and I wanted to get your opinion on that as far as that FTC thing, because I was like, aren't they supposed to be specifically looking out for for the consumer? But what's going on here? Like
You see
so
this?
no,
You
I
haven't seen
see it. It
oh,
just
okay.
I just thought it was funny as far as that was concerned. Now, there was something that's happened, I guess, the past 2 days. I don't know if you've heard rumblings about it, about, I'm trying to remember her name, but it involved Usher and the young lady who did you hear about this?
No.
This was like maybe 2 days ago. So yeah, sorry, kind of just springing it
Yeah,
on you
we
here, but I just want to get your opinion. I just want to get your opinion because it was just something I was like, oh, well, I mean, you could probably look more into this maybe on your week. We could deep dive, but just the
right, right.
TLDR. Basically, young lady had a baby with another gentleman, right? She's pretty well known. I forgot her name. Give me 2 seconds.
Did that make it relevant? Tab.
KeKe
Did
Palmer.
that make it
KeKe
okay? I
Palmer.
don't
You don't know who that is? Okay. So basically, yeah,
name
it was
sounds
drawn.
familiar, but I don't know.
It was drawing a blank. So basically, she had a baby with another gentleman who she was dating. They were dating. I don't know if they still are dating, but she had a baby. She went out, and Usher was performing. Usher got her on stage, started serenading her, this, that, and the third. The dude basically went on to, I want to say it was either Twitter or Instagram, talking about if you are with me, you are a projection of me, so you shouldn't be out doing this, that, and the third. You're a new mom. You shouldn't be, dressing,
Her
going out and
first
doing.
child.
Huh?
This is her first child.
I believe so. I believe
Okay.
so. Like I said, I don't have all the details. This was
Right,
literally this is just something because it was like hot topic. So like, let me see what you have to say because we've had our difference of opinions on stuff like this.
right.
Um, but
Mine's right.
basically,
Wrong. But go ahead.
never that. Basically, he got on social media, tweeted, and sent out his feelings about the situation, and people were saying that he needs to be some more supportive of his, of his wife, of his kids, stuff like that. She's just now getting out there. Her self confidence is low because I guess when I don't, I wouldn't know how it feels when you have a child, but I'm guessing women's self esteem is lower because they put on the weight from eating and all that other stuff. I guess, um, and so he's basically getting buried for that, and that's basically it. And it was related to a Boondocks episode, and of course, you don't watch the Boondocks, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But
All right.
basically, it was Tom's character named Tom. His wife was getting serenaded by Usher. Basically, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Basically, he was stealing Tom's girl, and everybody's like, "Oh, that couldn't be me though." So basically, the same situation. Usher was serenading his girl. He had a kid. This, that, and the third, and he was on social media talking about it. Um, I hope that was enough information. I want to see
All
where
right.
you stand on that before I say what I needed to say.
First of all, she's not your girl. You don't have ownership of anyone unless you're married.
Mm.
Fact that she went out right after giving childbirth tells you that.
I don't know how long this was, so it might have been, but she just went out. I don't recall
Okay. Okay.
the time frame.
Self-esteem has nothing to do with it.
Mm.
If you have a self-esteem issue, you definitely don't want to be out in public. Her
Right.
self-esteem is not hindered whatsoever. And the fact that she was willing to get up on stage or be singled out. Her self-esteem was not hindered in any way. So she was where she wanted to be, and
Mm,
she is who she is. And you knew it. And for you to go on social media and try to blast her shows weakness as well, because you should understand what you got. Men got to learn to be men.
mm,
You can't control anybody. Even if when you're married, even that commitment, you made a commitment to God and the man, you still don't have that control. But you hope that both parties believe in it. But when you see the other person, you just dating, you had a kid out of wedlock, and expect a wife um, qualifications or responsibilities, why didn't you marry?
mm.
So you get what you get. So be a man, suck it up. You shouldn't even put your business out on on social media.
Mm.
Take care of your kid the best you can, and hopefully you can prove that she's not a fit mother, so that you can raise the kid the right way if you got such good values.
Right. Basically, yeah. I mean, long story short, yeah, that was basically it. It was just like, if you're gonna have that discussion, you should be doing that in house. Is the long story short of it. It should not be going out on social media about how you feel, this, that, and the third. Um, it was just really interesting. Of course, recent development. He scrubbed his social media of, I guess, what he said or whatever. Yeah, of course, when somebody does something dumb on social media, they try to
He
go back and erase
he
it.
made an emotional response. He
Right.
put emotional response out in public.
Right.
And guys and men, and I'm just putting this all across the board, we don't react with our emotions. We're supposed to be the one that sit back and control it. It could be to our detriment, but that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be emotional and respond in that way. We just not.
Right.
Now you got two people responding like that. And that's why you got people getting shot. That's why you got people get, you know, abuse and all this other stuff.
Mm.
Emotions. You're emotional. See, young people are emotional.
But no, it's not us young
People like
people.
us, we know
It,
how to keep it in check.
it's not us young people. That's the thing. It's not us young people. It's just certain individuals. Um, it's interesting because it's one of those things where nobody knew who he was, but everybody knew who she was because she's famous because she's been on like some shows that have been running for years or something like that. Um,
It's
uh,
been a
and so it was just like it. It's just funny how that show, the Boondocks, translates to a lot of things in real life, and this just happened to be a one for one comparison of exactly what happened on the show. and so and so it was just funny to me because that show that hasn't been on for, I think, maybe like 7-8 years now, something. It's been a minute. It still has relevance because it's black culture, and the things that happen in black culture are still happening, just like when people, I don't, because you need to watch the show. That's the thing I'm going to tell you right now. You need to go and watch. You
good
need to
show.
go. You
I
need to.
get
You need to
so
go and watch the show because you'd be like, oh, those guys were insightful. They knew some stuff about what
I
goes on in the
guarantee
world.
the person who wrote it was somebody my age or over.
I think
If it's
she's.
insightful, if it's
I
insightful.
think. I think the creator, Regina Davis, is in her 40s, maybe. So she's in between. I want to say. I can look it up. Hold
Direct,
on.
might be a director, but she's not the
No,
director.
she's
I'll say.
or
I'm gonna look up.
Regina. Sorry, Regina King. Excuse me.
And she's
Okay,
what?
Regina King, 52.
Ah, yes. Like I said,
Uh huh.
she's my age, in my age range. There's no way she's in 30s, 40s, and all that. No, no, absolutely not.
Anyway,
Because we have a different set of values
uh,
and we understand. Listen,
it's not. It's
I'm telling you, that young man, or whoever he is,
mhm.
I hope he listens and I hope people got feedback. Please respond because he should have just suck it up as a man. And that's the problem. Do men know how to be men? And who are teaching them? That's the question.
Right.
Who are teaching them? Women? How can a woman teach a man to be a man? But you know what? They can teach a woman how to be a man. They're doing a good job of that. I
I'm,
said it. Yeah, I said it.
hey man, they can come after you.
Uh,
I'm sitting here
us,
trying to focus.
hey,
Hey,
we,
you can
we,
be the old man yelling at the clouds. Hey, you do what you do, man.
hey,
I'm
I'm
just.
just saying. I'm just saying, you just pointed out a prime example
Mhm.
of a man doesn't understand how he's supposed to respond to a situation. And you see a woman going out, probably doing what a man would probably do, just giving birth or having a young kid.
Mhm.
The roles are totally reversed.
Yeah, and just to let you know, you would be granddad on that show. So when you watch it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I don't act like that." I'm like, "Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do." And that's why it's insightful because you act just
So
like him.
who would you be?
I'd
Let me put
be,
it this
I'd be Huey.
way.
I'd be the sensible one. Just be like,
Oh, no,
"Okay,
I can't wait to watch this.
you need to go watch it." I know I'd be the sensible one. I'm just like, "Okay, why do you not see what's going on?" You need to go watch that show. And when you watch it, you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I know how you gonna act." You'll be like, "I don't act like him. I don't act like him. I don't act like him." So yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Uh, but like I said, Microsoft, I, I don't know what the end results of the court case. I think they would get it. They
Mhm.
should. Um, I think Sony doesn't really care, but they had to do what they had to do as a corporate company to say, hey, maybe we could stop it. We paid enough lobbyists and things like that to get our uh, best interests taken care of
Right.
and see what happens. But they're still going to share the games. They're still going to share. Now they might not share because not just. I just want to make sure I get this right. The controller, different aspects of the controller is different with Xbox compared to PlayStation. You might have to do more at PlayStation than you do at Xbox to get certain functions.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I don't think those properties will be exchanged, but um, I think Sony and PlayStation. I think this is just a corporate right to the public,
Right.
and the FTC felt that Xbox, Microsoft haven't lobbied enough to get a fair pass, and maybe they were trying to teach them a lesson.
On what? Teach them a lesson on what?
Pay to play, pay to play, pay to play,
Might
pay to
teaching
play,
Microsoft a lesson to pay to play.
pay to play. You got to pay your lobbyists. You got to pay to get a smooth transition.
I mean, I guess I don't know if that's
Maybe
the
that. Maybe that's what. The best
I don't think
thing.
that's what it is because, like I said, this has been a ongoing thing between these two. And I just think it was Sony's time to just be petty. It wasn't a paid. It wasn't a paid.
But the Sony didn't make the FTC jump up there and take this to court. Possibly. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This is a government agency. This is not a Sony agency.
Might as well be. Might as well be with the way the FTC was acting. It might as well
Well,
be.
like I
But
said,
yeah, that was pretty much all I had this week. It wasn't a whole lot going on. And for my week outside of, like I said, the KeKe Palmer stuff and that Microsoft stuff. So it was kind of a dead week. And I don't know if you want to expand more on that because it sounds like you do. You want to be the old man yelling at the clouds next week. So I feel
no,
like
no, no,
you're going to expand on that for next week.
no,
But
no, no.
I'll leave
I know
that to
my
you.
topic's going to be very informative. My topic will be very informative. It's going to be relative, which this is because it shows how companies. Um, this is a game. This is a game to them. They
Mm,
playing it.
right,
That's all it is. They got the money and the resources to do it. Um, the thing is, we just have to sit back and watch and see how it plays out. We have no control over it. Don't need to lose any sleep. We don't have a dog in the fight, in a sense.
right,
So don't even worry about it. However it turns out, it's not going to change how you live or how you play or whatever. So, but it's a good topic to discuss to see how things work or how hypocritical things are
right,
sometimes.
right,
Just pointing things out. That's all we're doing. And
right,
it's a good topic, and I'm glad you brought it up because it just shows it goes all the way up. It's just not at the bottom. It goes all the way up to the top.
right.
Lawmakers and people supposed to have your best interest.
Right. And that was the whole thing. Excuse me. It wasn't even about the merger. I was just like I was just focusing on the government entity that's supposed to have our best interest, and that's the part I was just like, okay, so it's one of those kind of things. But
It
yeah,
puts it in question. It puts it in question.
it
That's
does.
right.
But yeah, that was it for me, old man. Like I said, it's gonna be short and sweet, short week. Well, short week for news, I guess. But I guess next week we'll have a slog fest. Um,
It was a
just
good topic, a great topic, and good information. And
I'm just
that's the
gonna
no. That's the
I'll go
no.
ahead and prepare to take a nap for that. But yeah, we're out of here, buddy. We'll see you next week. Thanks for
Have a
listening.
great week. All right.
Later.